Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Broadway Buzz, the podcast where we break down what's hot, what's not, and everything in between on Broadway. I'm your host, Pierce Ream, and today we're diving into the 2025 Tony Award nominations. The list is out, and let's just say, I kind of expected all of this. Some well-deserved nods, a few jaw-dropping snubs, Real Women Have Curves, I'm talking about you, and shows that might not survive this season without the Tony boost. Before we get into it, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at BWayBuzz Podcast for all the latest Broadway buzz, behind-the-scenes posts, and bonus content. And if you're listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever, hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. Today's quote of the day is from André in his 2019 acceptance speech from when he won the Tony for the Best Featured Actor in a Musical for Hadestown. He said, "Slowly is the fastest way to get where you want to be." I'm going to let that one sit and you think about it. So before we actually start, I want to note that there are approximately 800 to 850 Tony voters, and they're a part of a select group of theater professionals, industry insiders, and representatives for different organizations, and they are the ones that determine the Tony Awards winners every year. So we have people from Actors Equity Association, we have stage directors, we have choreographers, we have Dramatists Guild people, we have people from the United Scenic Artists, we have people from the theatrical unions and guilds, we have Broadway producers, off-Broadway producers, we have touring presenters affiliated with the Broadway League, we have artistic directors, and a small number of theater critics and journalists are included, but they have to stay back and not vote on certain things if there's a conflict of interest within the show or within the category. So all Tony voters are expected to see all the eligible shows in a given season to maintain their voting privileges. And if they skip a certain production or a couple, they must abstain from voting in the categories that they're in, because obviously they can't vote for something that they haven't seen. Okay, now that I've explained all of that, we have a bit of a better understanding. Now we're going to start talking about Real Women Have Curves. This is a new show, one of the first Hispanic shows on Broadway in the past 10 years, other than Buena Vista Social Club. It's disappointing that they have had no nominations. Angel Sigala, my friend, who was in one of our episodes, he and I actually discussed the show after he saw it, and he has close friends in that. And we discussed if he even thought that it would continue running, and he said it just needs a strong audience, a strong fan base. And unfortunately, without these Tony nominations, should I say, without the nominations, I don't know how strong the show is going to be. Obviously, whenever people are nominated for Tony Awards, or if a show is nominated for a Tony Award, that's going to bring up the ticket sales and create a higher drive for audiences to come out and try to see the show, because there's this speculation and this dazzle around a certain person or a certain show. You want to see it. You want to see what all the hype is about. So it's obviously helped shows stay open, and it's obviously helped shows close, because if it's not getting the buzz that deserves, or if it's not getting any buzz from the award shows, no one's going to really bat an eye towards it. They're going to be going to see other shows. Like, I've heard people already say they want to go and see Gypsy for a second time now that Audra is nominated, because these actors and actresses, they are going to be on their best behavior until June 8th now. They're going to be out in the public talking to people. They're going to be doing interviews. They're going to be performing as hard as they can, because they all want to win. And the thing is, the Tony voters, they're going to see all of the shows again. Most of them are going to see the shows again, so they can reevaluate how the performance is now that these people have this in the back of their head that I could be the Tony winner. Back to Real Women Have Curves. Some of the reviews, we have Entertainment Weekly giving the musical an A minus, and they were describing it as vibrant and emotionally resonant. The Washington Post emphasized the musical's relevance. They talked about the exploration of immigration issues and generational tensions. Vulture described the production as vibrant and emotionally resonant and an emotionally resonant adaptation. Time Out New York gave the show 4 out of 5 stars, calling it a joyful night of music and celebration. So, the show hasn't been nominated, and now there's talk that the show will be closing maybe this month. Excuse me. Apparently, the producers are going to be meeting up and discussing the future of the show because they don't have the nominees or the possibly funding. Who's going to say, let's go see Real Women Have Curves? It has no nominations. No one. So we're going to have to see how Real Women Have Curves really plays out with no Tony nominations. Now let's talk about Redwood, Idina Menzel's musical, where she climbs a tree for 2.5 hours. That show also had no nominations. I'm not that surprised. I feel like the producers were also prepared for this. They thankfully have Idina, so they can probably keep the show running until August when it's scheduled to close. The show's nothing really groundbreaking. It's just LED screens as a backdrop and Idina Menzel singing, climbing on a tree. I've heard that the show makes people cry, which, good for them. I'm not really interested in seeing it. Maybe if I were to see it for free, I would go and see it, but yeah. Also, Smash, the musical about Marilyn Monroe, it's also based off of a television show, based off of a movie, I think. It also has no nominations, but the people that are backing the show have lots of money to lose, so it seems like it's going to be okay for now, including the ticket sales. It feels like it's going to be okay. I would additionally like to note that Cara Young has been nominated for Best Featured Actress in a Play for 4 years in a row at the Tony Awards, which is something that's iconic. Like, good for you, Cara. Good for you. That's what? Like, good for you. Okay, now we're actually going to be getting into the nominations. So, for Best Musical, we have Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and Operation Mincemeat. I don't really know if I can speak on any of these because I haven't seen any of them. I'm really happy that Death Becomes Her and Maybe Happy Ending are both nominated. I just those are two shows that I've been wanting to see, and I know Maybe Happy Ending and Death Becomes Her both have great, phenomenal leads in both shows. So I'm glad to see that the shows are receiving their flowers. Now, for Best Play, we have English, The Hills of California, John Proctor is the Villain, Oh Mary, and Purpose. Again, I haven't seen any of these. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I would love to have seen Oh Mary. It closes at the end of June. I'll be in New York City at the end of June, so it's not out of the books. Now we have Best Revival of a Musical. We have Floyd Collins with Jeremy Jordan, Gypsy, where with obviously Audra McDonald, Pirates, the Penzance Musical, and Sunset Boulevard with Nicole Scherzinger. I honestly think Gypsy deserves to win, but I know it's going to be a tight race between Gypsy and Sunset. Okay, now we're going to be discussing the best revival of a play. Eureka Day, Our Town, Romeo and Juliet, and Yellowface. I'm not too familiar with Eureka Day nor Yellowface, and I only really know that Jim Parsons was in Our Town. Romeo and Juliet I'm of course familiar with, and that was the adaptation with Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler, so I wouldn't really be surprised if that one won, especially with how strong the audiences were. Best performance by a leading actor in a musical. We have Darren Criss in Maybe Happy Ending, Andrew Durand in Dead Outlaw, Tom Francis in Sunset Boulevard, and Jonathan Groff in Just in Time. We have James Monroe Eagleheart in A Wonderful World, and Jeremy Jordan in Floyd Collins. I would be happy to see Andrew win, Jonathan win, mostly because Andrew I saw in Shucked, and I have his autograph on my wall. He sent me it, so I kind of favor him. And Jonathan Groff is actually from the same town as me, so he's friends with my theater teacher. I just have like a connection to him, you know? So yeah, I would be pretty happy to see Jonathan win. Okay, now we have Best Performance by a Leading Actress in a Musical. We have Megan Hilty in Death Becomes Her, Audra McDonald in Gypsy, Jasmine Amy Rogers making her Broadway debut in Boop the Musical, Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard, and the iconic Jennifer Simard in Death Becomes Her. I'd like to see Audra win, but she's already won 7, so let's either give it to Jennifer or Jasmine. I kind of have a favor over Jennifer because I've seen her in Mean Girls as Regina's mom / Miss Heron, as well as Miss Norbury as well. And I've seen her in Once Upon a One More Time, the Britney Spears musical, twice, where she played the evil stepmother. That role, she carried that show. That's what I'll say. She carried that show. She deserves it. She's hilarious. She's a powerhouse. She deserves her flowers now. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a musical. We have Brooke Ashmanskas in Smash, Jeb Brown in Dead Outlaw, Danny Burstein in Gypsy, Jack Malone in Operation Mincemeat, and Taylor Trench in Floyd Collins. Danny Burstein, I would like for Danny to win. I actually met him at the Broadway Flea Market in September of 2024, and he was very personable, very, 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 very nice. He makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. He's not just like a pass you off kind of guy. He actually has a conversation and engages with you. So, yeah, I'm going to be rooting for him. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musical. We have Natalie Ventia Belcon in Buena Vista Social Club, Julia Niddle in Dead Outlaw, Gracie Lawrence in Just in Time, Justine Machado in Real Women Have Curves, and Joy Woods in Gypsy. Now, I unfortunately did not see Joy Woods in Gypsy. I would have loved to see Joy. I actually did go and see Gypsy on opening weekend, but Joy was out. I saw her understudy Chantel, and she was amazing as well. I know I did say Real Women Have Curves was barely nominated. They only have 2 nominations, which I just mentioned the one, Best Performance of an Actress, and they also have Best Original Score. But I don't think the 2 nominations are really enough to keep the show running. Now we're going to talk about the Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Play. No surprise, George Clooney in Good Night and Good Luck, Cola Scola in Oh Mary, John Michael Hill in Purpose, Daniel Day Kim in Yellowface, Harry Lennox in Purpose, and Lewis McCartney in Stranger Things The First Shadow. I hope Cole wins. It's his Broadway debut. Then he wrote the show. George Clooney, he's just another Hollywood actor. Lewis McCartney, he came from London, actually. He transferred from the West End with Stranger Things The First Shadow. So for him to be transferring and to be getting the nomination for Best Leading Actor in a Play is good for him. Best Performance in a Leading Actress in a Play. We have Laura Donnelly in The Hills of California, Mia Farrow in The Roommate, Latanya Richardson Jackson in Purpose, Sadie Sink in John Proctor is the Villain, and Sarah Snook in The Picture of Dorian Gray. I hope Mia wins. I saw The Roommate twice. The show is phenomenal. Her performance and take on her character, she deserves to win. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a play. We have Glenn David in Purpose, Gabriel Ebert in John Proctor is the Villain, Francis Joe in Yellowface, Bob Odenkirk in Glengarry Glen Ross, and Conrad Ricamora in O'Mary. I'm not familiar with any of these actors, so good luck to all of them, and may the best one win. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a play. Tala Ashi in English, Jessica Hecht in Eureka Day, Marion Neshat in English, Fina Straza and John Proctor is the villain, and Kara Young in Purpose. As I mentioned before, this is Kara Young's 4th nomination in a row, so I kind of am rooting for her. Now, for Best Book of a Musical, let's talk about what a book is. The book is basically anything that's not the music, so it's just the script writing, it's the lines, it's the dialogue, it's the characters' actions, the stage directions, all of that. So we have Marco Ramirez, who wrote Buena Vista Social Club. We have Itamar Moses, who wrote Dead Outlaw. We have Marco Panett, who wrote Death Becomes Her. Will Arneson and Hugh Park, who wrote Maybe Happy Ending. David Cumming, Felix Hagen, Natasha Hodson, and Zoe Roberts all wrote Operation Mincemeat. So those are all the nominations for Best Musical. What am I saying? Best Book of a Musical. Now we're going to talk about the Best Original Score. The score is basically all of the music, all of the lyrics, all of the instrumental, all of that. We have Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mincemeat, and the second nominations, which I mentioned before, for Real Women Have Curves. Now we're going to talk about the best scenic design of a play. The scenic design obviously just being the set and the background and stuff like that. We have English, The Hills of California, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Stranger Things The First Shadow, and Good Night and Good Luck. For best scenic design of a play, which I literally just read, why did I put that twice? We have, for best scenic design of a musical, we have Swept Away, Maybe Happy Ending, Buena Vista Social Club, Death Becomes Her, and Just in Time. I kind of feel like Maybe Happy Ending may be winning because the projections, and I haven't seen the show, but I just have heard how amazing it is. So if you guys have seen any of these shows, please go on my Instagram, DM me, let me know what you think are the winners going to be. For best costume design of a play, we have Good Night and Good Luck, The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Hills of California, Oh Mary, and Stranger Things The First Shadow. Now for the best costume design of a musical, we have Buena Vista Social Club, Boop, Maybe Happy Ending, Death Becomes Her, and Just in Time. For best lighting design of a play, we have The Hills of California, Stranger Things The First Shadow, Good Night and Good Luck, John Proctor is the Villain, and The Picture of Dorian Gray. All right, let's go ahead and break down all of this. The best lighting design obviously is the lights. The costume design obviously is the costumes. But since the musical and the plays are sort of separate, we have different categories for each one. I'm only saying this just so I can buffer all of just me listing stuff. I just wanted to talk a little bit, but let's just go back into it. For the best lighting design of a musical, we have Sunset Boulevard, Buena Vista Social Club, Floyd Collins, we have Maybe Happy Ending, and Death Becomes Her. For best sound design, we have Stranger Things, John Proctor is the Villain, Good Night and Good Luck, The Hills of California, and The Picture of Dorian Gray. For Best Sound Design of a Musical, we have Buena Vista Social Club, Sunset Boulevard, Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, and Floyd Collins. For Best Direction of a Play, we have English, The Hills of California, Oh Mary, John Proctor is the Villain, and The Picture of Dorian Gray. The Best Direction of a Musical, Buena Vista Social Club, Maybe Happy Ending, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, and Sunset Boulevard. For Best Choreography, we have Smash, Gypsy, Death Becomes Her, Boop, and Buena Vista Social Club. Best Orchestrations, we have Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, Floyd Collins, Buena Vista Social Clubs, and Sunset Boulevard. So those are all of the different nominations throughout the season. Let's go ahead and discuss a little more about Miss McDonald, the iconic Audra. Oh, before we do that, I also would like to note Buena Vista Social Club, Death Becomes Her, and Maybe Happy Ending, all three tied this year for the number of the most nominations, each with 10 total nominations, including Best Musical. And then for the most nominated plays, we have The Hills of California and John Proctor is the Villain tied at 7. And for the most nominated revival, we have Sunset Boulevard at 7, Floyd Collins at 6, and Gypsy at 5. So, as of May 1st, 2025, Audra McDonald holds the record for the most Tony Awards won by any performer with 6 wins. She has won in 1994 for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for Carousel. 1996, she won Best Featured Actress in a Play for Masterclass. In 1998, she won Best Featured Actress in a Play in a Musical for Ragtime. In 2004, she won Best Featured Actress in a Play for A Raisin in the Sun. 2012, she won Best Leading Actress in a Musical for the Gershwins' Porgy and Bess. In 2014, she won Best Leading Actress in a Play for Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. This actually made her the first performer to also win in all 4 acting categories, meaning Best Featured Actress in a Play, Best Featured Actress in a Musical, Best Leading Actress, etc. And as of this year, she has received a total of 11 nominations, which also makes her the most nominated performer in the Tony Award history. So yeah, she's kind of iconic. Check her out if you haven't. And that's a wrap on this year's Tony Award nominations episode. Some exciting picks, some letdowns, and a whole lot to look forward to. Whether your favorites made the list or got totally robbed, one thing's for sure: the Broadway buzz is real. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're following Broadway Buzz on Spotify so you never miss the latest theater tea, deep dives, and show breakdowns. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at BWayBuzz Podcast for updates, polls, and all things Broadway between episodes. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Pierce Ream, and I'll see you next time with more drama, more legends, and more theater magic. Until then, keep the curtain up. And don't forget, the 78th Annual Tony Awards are going down on Sunday, June 8th, 2025, live from Radio City Music Hall. You can catch it on CBS or stream it on Paramount Plus. So grab your playbills and popcorn, because Broadway's biggest night is almost here.